Y'all ever been in too much of a hurry for work and accidentally swallowed a little bit of Listerine? I did. Not a good start to today. Hello again. What's going on? We're jumping right in today. I managed to get a couple coats of clear coat on the T-Rex. Um, as predicted, though, it drastically changed the finish, and because of that, a lot of the detail in the color is lost. I only had semi-gloss, and even semi-gloss is too shiny for my taste. So this was perfect for locking in the layer of paint that's on there now. But when the teeth are done and the last weathering jobs, however many more I want to do, are done, if the black wash weathering doesn't tone it down, I'm gonna have to buy a can of matte clear coat because, yeah, just the sheen hides some of the work, and I don't want to do that. The paint job is, you know, a lot of stress went into the paint job, so I kind of want that to show. So not a big deal, not a problem, but yeah, definitely needs to be not as shiny. So yesterday, that's way too much water. Nope. I was gonna. You saw it. I was gonna take a sip. I know what's been in that cup, which is why I thought about it, but I'm not gonna do that. Don't do that. It's not safe. I wasn't crazy about the liner that I chose yesterday either. So I think I'm gonna go with the thinnest one I've got. Come on. Who put this on? Yeah. I should do it. All right. Well, I mean, it has to. That's the thinnest brush I have. So it's all or nothing. Oh, wait. No. What am I talking about? I wasn't going to try and be that specific with it. I was going to paint in the I was gonna paint in the grooves on the teeth and just kind of match the line a little bit. But then, what was the point of putting the detail in? So then, the last thing we tried yesterday was doing like a wash of the color that I want the detail on the teeth to be, and then wiping off the excess as if I was weathering something. But it started taking the base coat of black off, so I just scrapped that plan. And I just need to be really careful with the yellow. Oh yeah, where's the yellow? Refrigerator. I keep forgetting I do that. Yes, cat. Why is the fridge open? Which one of you tried to get chicken? One of my cats has achieved the level of intelligence of the velociraptors in the first Jurassic Park movie, and she can open doors and cabinets. I'm serious. There is 2 child locks, baby locks, on my pantry because the cat has a thing for dry pasta. The crunchy, I guess. So this is what's going on the teeth today. And it is going to represent, we're going to do our best to recreate that. And may or may not be able to pull off that fade from the root, but might be able to do something like it. It's not hard to, after base coat, add a detail, paint in the detail, wash, seal in the layer, add another detail on top of that, which is kind of how this whole paint job happened. It was just adding a layer, taking it off, adding a layer, taking it off, being a little more specific, knocking it back. Okay. I do have to be a little more aware of how much alcohol I'm using because I'm running out. I didn't realize how much I was going to use on this project, and it's been a while since I've had to weather anything. So I guess I forgot how much I go through. Hair dryer just in case. Yep. Paint. Yep. I don't need to be as detailed as I thought I was going to be, so we're going to use a little bit of a bigger brush just for the coverage. Oh, no. Wait. All right, hold on. Strategematizing in real time. Let's take a thin brush, like I was gonna. And because this is a light color going on a dark color, it's going to go on light, right? But if I keep the majority of it light and I only go back and go over my little detail grooves in each tooth, let it dry, and then I come back and I just knock back the one coat of the yellow, most, if not all, of what should remain is the 2 coats of yellow paint that stayed in the detail grooves of each tooth. That's the theory. That's the plan. Whether or not it'll work, you are going to find out. I should not need to stir this. Cool. And with the 2 coats of clear coat that I got on each tooth, I shouldn't have to worry about eating through the paint like I did yesterday. Because yesterday when I tried to do this, and I don't want to see, like, I already messed up. I don't want to get that, even with the clear coat on there, I don't want to have to get in there any more than I have to. Because even with the clear coat, the more I try to wipe this off, the more of the base coat it's going to eat into, which is what I don't want. You can call this lazy man's detailing. If I did a better job on these details and they were just a little more, what's the word? I don't know, if I cut just a little deeper, if there was a little more of a place for the paint to go and stay in, I would have just done this by hand with the detail brush, tooth by tooth, line by line, grain by grain. As meticulous as that would be, the payoff would be like just an amazing paint job. But this is what I got to resort to today. So I'm not going to do any more than that. Probably shouldn't have even done that much. I'm going to let that sit for a couple minutes, let it dry or at least skin over, and then I'll come back and I'm going to go over each of those faint. Let me see if I can get it in the light. See, it's even kind of hard to see on camera that there's even grooves cut into the teeth. Yeah. Well, that's why we're doing this, because if I can't see them that close, even though they're painted in, I can see them with the naked eye. So anything to help that detail stand out. I went through a lot of trouble going over each tooth with a Zacto a bunch of times. 60 teeth. Terrible. I I went back in to the cavity yesterday after stream and darkened it up so that it's kind of not kind of it's impossible to see gray EVA foam on the interior from any angle. That was the last real eyesore of the prop that needed to be finished, was that just the interior was still that HD foam gray. And while working on it, I may not notice it, and like on camera while I was working on it, you may not have noticed it, but I noticed it. And when I go in to take photographs of this at different angles, the pictures are sure as hell going to pick those up. So all of the gray spots that didn't get colored in from the initial plasti dip, and then day one when I did a base coat of black, like that. You're a cat. Yes? What? You didn't hear, but she replied with a meow. Huh. You guys hear that? Hey, you okay? What? Where are you going? Come here. Oh, hi. Why are you yelling? From another room, no less. Oh, you got lunch. Yeah, you got lunch. Why are you yelling at me? Huh? No, don't drink that. There's no paint in it, but still. It's the same desk. Nothing's different. Okay, bye. That's how interested she was. Don't start eating stuff. Miss. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned about this not working. Just a little, naturally, a little concerned. I got a clean spot of rag. I need something to just be able. I need to be able to just dip the rag into a little bit of isopropyl. But I don't think I have any more caps I can use. That's okay. I guess that works just as well. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I just can't get too close to the... Okay. Yeah, some of it stuck, some of it didn't. Okay. Well, all it did was knock the shine back. It didn't. The color didn't stay in the recesses like I thought it was gonna. That's kind of a bummer, to be honest. Man. Okay. I don't really know what to do next. I don't think I have a brush thin enough to get that thin a detail. Make it look convincing with my hand. Come on. Come off the tooth. I mean, it stayed in some spots, but all it really did was make it look like I'm bad at painting. Like it's spotty. So it worked in really select spots on the teeth, but not enough of an effect to warrant the amount of work that would require. Damn. Now I'm having a hard time getting the original shine back too. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me so. Let's get a clean piece of cloth here. Okay. And I can't test there again either because I will definitely start to eat through paint. And now it's reversed. Now the teeth are a more matte finish than the rest of the prop. It's opposite day. How thin of a line can I get with this? I mean, it's a liner brush. If I put it in and take off most of the paint. Hold on. Is it already drying on me? Ugh. It's pretty thin. I also do not have the steadiest of hand, which is why I never got into tattooing. Ugh. That's as thin as I can get it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I want that detail, but I just don't like how it's translating to the prop. And now I gotta, if I want to leave these teeth alone, I gotta go over all of them. Not all of them, but these four again with leather paint. What do I do? I'm kind of at a loss. I thought that was gonna work. I really thought that was gonna work. Sorry, I kind of have to think about this one now. It's even with 2 coats of clear coat, just undoing that one bit, I ate that layer of clear coat off. It's gone. At least on the big teeth. No, on the little teeth too. I didn't put thick coats on because, like I said, I didn't want to lose any more detail than I already have, and ugh. All right. You know what we can do in the meantime? Damn. No, because like if I put a wash on the skull too, and then I don't like that, and I try to wash it off, I'm gonna just cut through the clear coat on the rest of the skull. But I also don't want to put more coats of clear coat on the prop because then that's gonna fill in detail. I'm in a predicament. I'm in a bit of a pickle. What if... No. Really? None of these other ones do really, really, really tiny line work? Like really tiny? What about this one? That's thinner. Still a little crusty from the last time I used it. But we'll see if that looks any better. A little bit on. Most of it off. Painting these on kind of defeats the purpose of cutting the lines in by hand. Does it go all the way to the... Yeah. As I've already stated, my hands are not steady enough for that kind of crap. Yeah, it just stands out like a sore thumb. I'm not crazy about it, and I don't know. It's not even like it's that bright of a color. It just doesn't work on a prop. It works on, an organic T-Rex tooth. Authentic, but not a prop replica, apparently. And now these teeth looking the way they are gonna bother the hell out of me for the whole stream. I have an acrylic paint pen. It's white, but it might do something. The other thing I can do is, where's that other picture? There's got to be another example of the cracked enamel, but a way that I can replicate it that still looks natural. Hold on. Excuse me. I keep burping. The other thing I can... Okay. I may be able to do something else with that color. It looks like the tips of some T-Rex teeth have discoloration. Going from... Well, some of them are different. It's kind of the problem. So many of these fossils are so different from each other, even specimens of the same species. Like exactly the same species. But most fossilized T-Rex teeth are relatively black in color, with some desert yellow and amber colored discoloration and cracks in the enamel. And yeah, man, that's that really subtle light color coming off it just works. It's just the lines that I made aren't deep enough, and that's really it. The grains in the teeth that I cut aren't thin enough. Or the microfiber was too... It got into the nooks and crannies, which is what I don't want it to do. So then the alternative would be to pick a towel that is not super... that's paper towel then, isn't it? I don't know if I want to use that then either. So maybe... There's no reason the weathering trick should not have worked. Should have been able to get paint in all the recesses, and all the paint should have stayed in there. The only thing I could think of is that I pushed too hard when wiping the paint off, or the paint needs to dry completely and I just need to be really slow about taking it off. All right. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go over those 4 teeth. And then on the other side, I'm going to start lightly coloring each tooth like I originally planned. And then drying them. And then knocking the paint back off them. Just touch these up. And I know the finish is going to be different now on these 4 teeth, but they're all going to get a different matching clear coat from the rest of the prop in the end anyway. At the end of the day, the biggest thing is that the teeth just have to have a different finish from the rest of the bone of the fossil. That's really the biggest difference that I can accomplish with what I have. Don't forget the tips of the teeth. So, I mean, worst case scenario, if it does look terrible, I can't undo it, but I can just reapply the previous steps. Like that's not a big deal. So why don't I just use the same brush? That's the beauty of trial and error. Sometimes I have this stuff locked in before I record or stream because I've done it before, and then sometimes you get to see trial and error in real time. Sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's not. Okay. So I think I'm just going to haphazardly coat the fronts of each of these teeth with our gross mustard looking yellow here. See, some of the teeth don't even have it on there. Like, the lines weren't dark enough, and when I heat sealed it, the foam just kind of, it actually just kind of closed around it. It's weird. Yeah, some of these just aren't deep enough looking at them. They're there. They're definitely there. They're just not, I don't think they're going to catch paint the way I want them to, which is a bummer. I gotta do something with the teeth. I can't just leave them like that. Because they're not, in reality, they're not a solid color. There's a gradient, or there's cracks, or something. So I gotta replicate that somehow. Not just in 3D, but in the color. What if I put a light coat of one of the browns that I made on each tooth, and I just wipe it off the tips and leave kind of a gradient from the gum to the tip, but the 2/3 of the tooth will be, like the enamel color, then the base of the tooth will be more like the faded brown. That might look cool. Okay. Let's see what happens. That means I do have to cut into the gum slightly, though, unfortunately, which I don't want to do, but That's how close I'm going to have to get to the base of each tooth. Right up to the gum, practically. You know what just dawned on me? I mentioned on an earlier stream that I couldn't fit all the teeth that I made into the mouth. Might have been a good idea to use some of those teeth to practice what I was going to do to them. Oops. It feels so wrong painting these this color. Feels, I don't know how it feels. It just feels wrong. Ugh. But they were blending in a little too well. They weren't standing out enough, and they were absorbing too much light to show any kind of definition, you know? So I'm going to try to get some of that back. Okay. I'm going to hit that with the dryer, hair dryer. I didn't find a better place to plug this in yet. I don't want to move all that stuff. All right. Make a little bit of a mess. Just a wee mess. Shut up for a paint's pretty thin. That ought to do it. Okay. Did I say I was going to do all of them and then? I don't remember. Oh, I got somewhere I didn't want to. I got some tan in the cut. No! Ah, it's so irritating. Okay. I'm going to try and achieve a gradient effect. to the best of my ability, anyway. I don't like using paper towels to do any kind of weathering because the paper towel breaks down and you get lint and it just doesn't hold alcohol the right way for this. But the shop towel was too aggressive, so I hate it. I hate it. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Really don't like it. Stupid looking. So what do I do? What am I to do exactly? Normally the impromptu experimental stuff like this works out. It just happened to not this time. It's okay. You win some, you lose many. But that makes the victory all the more victorious. I'm flossing this dinosaur right now. And there we go, eating through the clear coat. Uh, yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah, no. Oh. You know what? A darker shade. A darker shade probably wouldn't hurt. I need some kind of effect. So I'm going to roll with this. And what I can do, like I said earlier, is I can't undo it, but I can just do the same thing over it to undo it. And I don't need to go right up to where the tooth meets the jaw, the base of the tooth, because weathering is going to go into that little crevice. So for this particular detail, I don't need to go all the way down. I can kind of keep it just enough away that it doesn't paint over the cut like I did on one of the other teeth earlier. And then with this, the front teeth, yeah, this could accomplish something. And then just like a dark brown on top of that. And then if I really want, I can go back in with the Angelus and just shiny up the tips. But even after the color is done on the teeth, same thing. The very last thing that's going to happen, maybe even after the last wash, is the bone is going to get a finish and the teeth are going to get a finish. So they have that difference when they're viewed as a whole. Everything tends to just blend together when it's all the same finish, especially on something like this where, like, in reality, in nature, the teeth, the calcium, the bone does have a different texture, a different finish. So the enamel might have these grains in them, but that's from over time and fossilization. Put some starter paint on these because a little bit of paint is going to go a long way. I really don't need to go crazy with this. It's kind of a in hindsight, hmm. No, I don't think watering it down would have helped with the original plan for these. I don't know how much that would have actually done. Thought about watering it down like I would like a wash, but this kind of isn't a weathering. This is supposed to be color layer. It's just not going on like that. And stop. I can hear you chewing your nails from here. Hey, stop. What's going on? My dog's going to town on her paw. Okay. I mean, you can really see the teeth now. Yay. Ugh. I'm gonna try it on the lower jaw. Make sure it's, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's a lot of work to undo. Or do over. Okay. I'm gonna go back to using this because paper towel is gonna deteriorate. Not that this wouldn't, but I think it's just a lot less likely. Just kind of spread it a little bit. All right. Just gonna start by going back and forth. All right, well, note made. If I ever do this again, or if you decide to replicate this, make sure to use more than a couple millimeters of the tip of your X-Acto knife when you're cutting the details into these teeth. I think it may have been a combination of I didn't cut deep enough because I didn't want to, it's such a tiny piece of the prop. I didn't want to risk overdoing it, going too deep. And the HD foam, I think, is just too good at what it does. Cheap EVA foam is good for cut details because it's low density cell EVA. So when you heat it, it shrinks a lot more, and any cuts that you made into that kind of foam open up a lot more. I actually may need a toothbrush. Pardon me. Oh my God, it's gonna rain. Again. Ooh, big storm coming. Every stream, it's gonna storm. So yeah, same thing as the other day. If all of a sudden I lose the feed, everything's fine. Just a big old storm. Wait, why don't I just... Hold on. This is why I need a cup. Put the IPA in. I needed to replace this toothbrush. Anyway. Hell yeah, it's working. It's so funny, man. Hey, wow, Tom, how'd you get that detail on the T-Rex fossil teeth? A toothbrush. Can't make it up. Oh, come on. Don't tell me I'm gonna need floss, too. That's too funny, man. Seriously, though, I do need something to put that alcohol in. So I can just dip the toothbrush in, get some alcohol on the bristles, and actually scrub. I have the cap to one of these somewhere. Oh, yeah. I'll just pour some into this little cap and a little goes a long way. And that's a lot. Take your toothbrush, dip it into spill your alcohol, and just do some of this. I mean, it kind of only makes sense to do this with a toothbrush when you think about it. Oh, I didn't really need to get in between the teeth, did I? No. No, I didn't. But I've chosen a smaller receptacle for my rubbing alcohol. Hold it upside down so it doesn't drip into my prop. Minimize the mess. And whatever the brush doesn't take off, I can wipe away with the rag. And I mean, it added something, right? And it's gonna get darkened with a wash, and then a finish reapplied. I got to get rid of some of the color in between the teeth, though. Keep it kind of, well, no, I don't know. It just needs to look like it belongs. It needs to look natural, and that is possible to screw up. And I can't help but feel like that's kind of what's happening now, fighting a losing battle against this cockamamie color scheme. Oh no. I might need to also get some floss too. Yeah, definitely didn't need to paint. Didn't need to paint the sides of the teeth at all. Like it's just because of how much harder it is to get that spot clean. And like the colored there just doesn't really bring okay. So that didn't exactly work out as I wanted it to. Again. Damn. I'm kind of stumped, to be honest. Really don't like how that's looking. Ugh. It's just messy. But not in like the good way, not in like the accidentally looks cool way. It's just something extremely visually unappealing about the effect that that had on the teeth. Well, can't control Z life, but sure as hell can paint over it. Put that on a damn bumper sticker. Alright, now I just gotta clean it up. I got odd colored rubbing alcohol all over it. I mean, yeah, it definitely did add some discoloration, just not the discoloration I was going for. And took some paint off, because of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Oh, God. Brr. What is that? All right. Well, I'm so sorry. I'm actually really stumped on this. I don't know what to do for these teeth. It just didn't. It just didn't work. The only thing I can think of is like just actually making a wash of that color and applying it and letting it dry, and then as lightly as I can removing it, and it'll be easier to remove because it'll be watered down. So that is something I can try as a one more as a one last chance of getting the color I want out of this. Um yeah, but I'm not willing to do any more damage to the paint that I already put on this as is. Like it's just I feel like I ruined it. I don't know why. It just doesn't fit for me. It fits for the like the fossil aesthetic, but just like for me personally, I don't like it. Don't like it. Uh okay. Okay. Let's try this. Let's make a wash out of the paint. And we'll see if that does anything. I need a ramekin again. No. Well, at least this is the most unprepared I've been so far, and it's been relatively smooth sailing up until today. Oh, I've never hoped for a blackout before. So like really though, like that much paint, just like a brush worth. And even that's probably just too much water. We'll see. This really is the last thing I can try though, because uh then I risk ruining what's already done to the bone, and like I'm not risking that. I can't go back to that. I can't redo any of the work on the actual bone. It's just way too much. So let's try this. I'm applying it upside down because gravity. And this paint is extremely watered down. And the last thing I want it to do is go into the prop, which is why I've been using rubbing alcohol this whole time. Unfortunately, though, the rubbing alcohol eats through the clear coat and down to the paint if I'm overzealous with it. So, oops, yep, that just filled my gum line. Didn't want it to do that. Watered down paint just loves to occupy spaces, which is what makes the weathering effect so effective. Because you can apply a color, leave it there, it'll dry, wipe the excess off, and the color will remain most of the time where you left it, in the low spots. And you just wipe it away from the high spots, and you know, that's how weathering works. So I don't want to tilt it too much, but can you tell that it's... Can you see the grooves now? See, that's what the teeth are supposed to look like. Honestly, that's kind of what I had in mind, was just like a nice faded discoloration just in the imperfections to highlight the imperfections. No more, no less. I should have started with this because it's actually working. I don't know why I didn't think to use this technique how it's supposed to be done with watered down acrylic. It's actually dripping out of the crevices and creases. One way to guarantee that this will work will be what I was going to do earlier and do coats to ensure that the details fill with paint and they stay filled with paint. But what I can do is I can go back over each tooth against the grain, and that'll pull color out of the brush into the details. And hopefully the color will stay there. And yeah, I can only do one side at a time because it's dripping. The watered down paint's actually dripping out of the details that I'm trying to get it to fill, but it is filling the details and staying there. So this technique might be salvageable. How salvageable? Don't know until I try taking the paint off. This might work. Might as well get the underside too, because not. Both sides were detailed begrudgingly. Oh yeah, while I've got it on its side, I can do the other side safely. Yeah, see, like that's what I was going for. You couldn't see them earlier because they just got absorbed into the color, but like all of those lines in each tooth, I cut all of those, and each tooth has them, and you would never know it unless I did something like that, right? So that's how that's gonna work. Okay. Oh, look at that. Gravity did my job for me. And go back against the grain. Make sure every detail gets color in it. Oh, I chose the wrong side of that tooth to put on the outside. I don't know if you can see this one on the interior right here. Look at it. Look at the grains in the tooth. And I have that one facing in. Why did I do that? Oh well. I can't cheat with the hair dryer on this one because it just pushes the color out of the, and splatters it. Oh no. Don't dry in there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just touched that up. It's a mess. It's a messy job. Okay. Let's go back into each tooth. Refill each tooth. The other mistake I made was that I think I was in too much of a rush with the non-watered down paint and I didn't let it dry at all. Really, the hairdryer doesn't count, I don't think, because it just didn't dry it fast enough and thoroughly enough. So the paint didn't have a chance to really adhere, like, at all. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to give each tooth the opportunity to dry. There was this. I want to make this work. It doesn't have to work, but I really want to try everything I can to make this detail happen because just way too much planning went into it and work around to make sure I didn't fill in any details and that each tooth was going to look as real as I can get with EVA foam. Okay, just gonna let it dry. I want it like this, but I don't want it to rest on the teeth. How balanced is this? Obviously, it's teeth heavy. No, sometimes that works. Oh well, it's not this time. I just want gravity to drip it off the teeth. I don't want it dripping into the prop. So screw my laptop. Now, I could throw caution to the wind and paint the skull's teeth the same way and prep them the same way. Just to keep things as uniform as I can. Oh, it hurts. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Every other experiment has worked. Why not this one? Right? Right. I kind of want some results from this here and today. So we might even go past the slot of our regularly scheduled programming to work on this a little longer today. What do you think? Oh no. I accidentally did some cross hatching with some of these teeth. That's silly. Why did I do that? I don't think cross hatched grains naturally occur in dinosaur teeth. This might actually work. Just seeing how nicely the paint is going. Look at all of the detail that would have been completely lost in a sea of black acrylic paint. All that enamel work would have been completely lost. And I didn't even plan on having to do this. I don't know why, but I did just kind of assume that the details on the teeth would show themselves. That I wouldn't need to do any kind of tricky contrast work to get this to show. But pleasantly surprised with how it's being applied. How it comes off and how it looks when it comes off is a totally different beast. I think I got the water to paint ratio just right. Maybe a little more paint. Just so it dries faster, less water to evaporate. Because I already tried cheating with the hair dryer and it just pushes the water out of all the detail. So let me just say, Adam Savage, if for whatever reason ever you ever happen to see any of this footage or any other footage of me, can I just say, I know, like, you got, like, you know, how many years of expertise, experience, master experience, dude. One day builds. Like I'm in admiration, awe, and envy all at the same time. Because I can barely weather a prop in one day, let alone build a freaking lightsaber or Nerf sniper rifle. sir. You are a force of nature. Ooh, that's a good one. Some of these lines are a little more obviously pronounced than others. Some of them look really cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gosh. No. Nope. You guys don't get impressions, or at least the really good impressions, until later. Daddy doesn't do those for free. Okay. Getting to a point on this part that I have to just let the paint do its thing and dry. And then once it's dry, go back in and add more. And just kind of rinse and repeat until the teeth, I think, will keep the color even after I start cleaning it up. The only ones you're not really going to be able to tell are the front teeth, because I didn't cut any grooves front facing because there just really aren't any. The front and back of the T-Rex tooth, funnily enough, looks blunt, right, to the naked eye, and then you pick it up and you get real close and personal with it. These suckers are serrated on both sides. Like, this thing could bite through anything. And that is only slightly an exaggeration. Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a painstaking process, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you results today, because what's happening is I'll work on this side and it'll look great, and I'll think it dried enough, and I'll switch to another side, and then that happens. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do both sides simultaneously. I might not. And I gotta keep water out of the, or I gotta keep paint out of the gums. I just gotta. A little bit of IPA on a paper towel. I'm not even rubbing, I'm just pushing it up into the gum, and that's actually pulling the paint out of where I accidentally got it. And then I just go back in and put it back on like it never happened. Okay, so this will work. It'll work. I just need to leave it on one side for a while so the paint can dry in the detail. Like, yeah, all that detail that I just got to pop out is already gone because the paint succumbed to gravity. Yeah, I just gotta leave it like this. Or I don't have to leave it like that, but yo, 1, 2, 3 blocks to the rescue for the upteenth time. Yeah. I could have just like worked on it like that. Fun little tip when you're weathering a prop and you're using watered down acrylic. Okay. And let me try to just show you something really quick. Where'd the wash go? Say you're doing what I've been doing, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, oh God, yeah. Oh no, what happened? Oh no, I got paint in the gum that I didn't want to get it in. Oh no. What do I do? Oh no, paint. No, in the gum where I don't want it. What do I do? You take a corner of a dry paper towel, and because it is water, when you touch it with something dry, the water will be attracted to it like a magnet. And you don't even need to rub. You can literally just poke it. And there's all the paint I didn't want in that gum. Out of the gum. Gorgeous. I gotta start bringing this closer. Sorry. How's the lower jaw coming? Same. I gotta do the same thing. I just gotta let the paint do its thing on one side at a time. And even then I'm just gonna have to come back and just keep applying it and applying it and applying it until I get a good enough accumulation of paint. Slow, tedious, and cannot be rushed. We've already seen the results of that. There's not as much there's not as much detail for the paint to grab onto on the lower jaw. So in that regard, they're going to look a little different, but it shouldn't be by a lot. There is still enough lines on enough of these teeth for them to stay pretty aesthetically symmetrical. Is that a term? Aesthetically symmetrical? Should be. This one's a little different. There. This is what I used as a temporary axle for the hinge anyway. So I'm just going to use it again to keep everything where I need it to stay. Oh, look at that. I'm running out of corners of paper towel. Well, it's on the inside, so I'm not. Oh, no, there's so much in all the gums and all the teeth right here. God, no. Oh, no. It's too late. That paint's not going anywhere. I mean, it dries really transparent, translucent because of the amount of water that's in it, but this is going to be one of those where it's just time is my best friend, and I got to just leave this alone and work on something else for a while it dries, and just periodically check in on it. Unfortunately, that does not make for good live content. I think you've watched me space out and low key panic in real time for a lifetime today. I don't like to experiment with stuff like this, like paint and technique and stuff, before the camera turns on, because there's just, I don't know. I'd rather this be authentic, and I'd rather this be as unscripted as possible. Like, have a task in mind, obviously, but not to the point where like the entire thing is just painfully obviously BS, and I don't want to do that. So if you're okay with that and you don't want to watch a professional and you want to watch someone learn and you want to learn with me, then yeah, by all means stick around and hang out. If you want to watch someone who knows more about what they're doing, yeah, you can watch Adam Savage. You can watch where it all started for me, Evil Ted. And there's punished props and modulus props and press X props and punished props and SKS props and core geek and Kamui cosplay, and there's just a legion of you. And we all owe you a certain amount of gratitude, and I, for one, do not shy from that. Thank you, all of you. I didn't just know any of this stuff, coming out the womb. And yeah, thank you. All right. When I don't see the shine anymore, I know I can go in and put more of the wash on, but as long as it's got the wet reflectivity, I can't touch it. So I don't have any other tasks in mind for this for today. I'm gonna start working on a potential stand, either for desk or mantle or whatever. I don't know if you would really mount this on a wall with the piece in the back of the occipital backplate that I put that's on the prop. You easily could just kind of mount it onto something, hang it on a hook, put it on a peg on a display board on the wall. Same thing with the hole I put in the bottom of the skull. You can display it on that. Yeah, and just clean up a piece of plywood and stain it and stick the rod in, stick the skull in the rod. Boom, you got it on display. I would prefer like a matte black mounting display mount, but that's just me personally. Well, I wish I had results for you today. I'm sorry. Normally at the end of these, I can show something off, but we're gonna find out whether this works or not next time for sure. I will do my best not to test it before y'all join me again. And you can you can watch you can watch me die inside in real time again. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk to myself. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. And what time is it actually? Yeah. I'll see you next time, and thank you for